Hey, Tom.
Hey, JC.
We're back again, buddy.
We are.
Yes, and I have a new idea.
Oh?
So, have you heard about this app called Cameo?
No. I'm an old.
So the whole idea of it is that people can pay you, depending on the level of celebrity, anywhere from like $20 to, in the case of, I think, Brett Favre, is $500.
Oh, I have heard about this.
They can record a little message. Tom, I think we have enough followers now to where we need to start recording cameos for some revenue.
Oh, yeah. I'm down with that.
I just don't know what I would say to people. Well,
you don't have to think of your own thing to say. They pretty much pay you to say what they want you to say.
Well, but so I looked at their website as I was kind of scouting it out, and it's like you just kind of be like, "Hey, here's what I want you to say," and you gotta think off the top of your head, which is something I'm not good at.
No, that's why we're so horrible at podcasting.
Yeah. So, like, if I wrote, "Hey, Tom, I love the podcast. Can you give my friend Derek a shout out for his birthday?" And then you would say,
"Hey, Derek, it's Tom from Cheaters Never Pin. Hope you're having a great birthday. Thanks for listening."
That was quick. Like that. I don't think that's worth $500. Gotta add more to it. It's gonna be like, "Hey, Derek, this is JC and Tom from the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. Hope you're having a great day for your birthday, buddy. We don't want you to have too much fun because we know you'll hate the day. But make sure you have at least a little bit, okay?"
See, I like the idea of, if they're going to drop $500, why don't we just do our weekly podcast, but just throw the person's name in there every, couple of minutes.
I was thinking you just say just upload the podcast.
You're like, "So, JC, and also you, Derek." I was thinking, and then, we just kind of stick their name in there every once in a while when we're having a conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we just kind of, we splice it in there like the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie thing.
I love it. Oh, we got a packed show tonight, Tom.
That's a hell of a lot better than it was last week.
That's true. We're going to talk about the worst ratings in a very, very long time for WWE on Monday and Tuesday.
Dutifully earned.
We're going to talk about Rhino retiring? ?
It's a secret.
We got some pin mail that's going to lead to a fun segment.
Oh, I like fun.
Yeah, I do too. Fun is great. And then, of course, we'll lead off with the discussion around the Dynamite Kid who passed away this week.
Yeah.
So, don't even need the 10 count anymore. People can die. People pass away without it.
Thankfully, because I hated murdering those people.
Right? It was hard work to find every week. Be like, God, who can we take out?
Murder for the sake of a segment just really wasn't paying off.
No, it wasn't worth it. All right, so let's kick this thing off, Tom. Can you do me a favor, though, buddy?
What can I do for you?
Can you ring that bell for me?
Sure enough.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 network, bringing you all the best in wrestling from WWE, New Japan, and beyond. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC.
Oh, buddies! It's the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. My name is JC. Here next to me at the commentary table to the stars is my good buddy, Mr. Workrate, Tom.
Great to be here as always, JC.
Isn't it? I look forward to this every week.
It keeps me up past my bedtime, but it's cool. I can tolerate it.
Well, this is a week of hockey after dark anyway, so.
I don't stay up for that.
I'm going to try tonight. I think Sunday night I made it through the first period, and I was like, that was a really good first period. I think I even tweeted like, I'm going to go to sleep so we can score all the goals and win, and then I woke up Monday and we lost, and I was like, all right, good. I didn't miss anything.
I don't know. All I know is that yesterday, Calgary and Columbus took all of the goals, so I don't think there are any left.
Oh, good.
That's fine. 9-6, I think.
It's fine. The Hurricanes weren't going to score any anyway. Burn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was coming back around to as to why I don't stay up for the late games.
Right. The team doesn't even show up for the late games, so.
Anyway.
right?
But that's for a different podcast.
That's for if we had a hockey podcast, we called it Cheaters Never Win.
That's a good name,
isn't it?
Maybe we should do that.
We should add that to the empire.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's start off with the not so fun news of the day. News broke on Wednesday morning that Tom Billington, better known as the Dynamite Kid, passed away on his 60th birthday. The news was confirmed by WWE. I don't personally have that much experience with the Dynamite Kid due to my age and where I came into wrestling.
We're handing this off to me again, are we?
We are. But I am aware of his influence on basically what is the cruiserweight / junior heavyweight style of today.
Yeah.
And that he is the godfather of that through his work pretty much everywhere, especially in Japan.
Yeah. Dynamite Kid started his career over in England and then came over to Calgary in the Stampede promotion with Stu Hart. But made a name for himself both in Calgary, where he got to meet and wrestle both against and team with his eventual partner for several years, Davey Boy Smith. But he first started getting real recognition, I think, due to a feud that he had over in Japan with the original Tiger Mask, which kind of got over the Tiger Mask character as well as put him over big time. And, I mean, the mid-'80s, old school WWF fans remember the British Bulldogs, but Billington himself just was a great influence, as you said, on professional wrestlers, especially in the cruiserweight / junior heavyweight style. Probably the number one biggest impact on another wrestler was of the career of Chris Benoit. Benoit worshipped Tom Billington, the Dynamite Kid, and just from everything from his work rate to his style to the trademark top rope headbutts. And unfortunately, that style led to the demise of both Billington and Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit with the CTE and the various concussions and the unpleasantness, which I won't get into right now. But Billington himself went through a lot of neck and back injuries through his career, even in the WWF days. They were forced to lose the night that they lost their World Tag Team belts. Billington could barely walk, let alone wrestle. Mm-hmm. He was actually carried to the ring by Davey Boy Smith and kind of like propped up onto the apron. And then the two of them dropped the belts, but he was, kind of old school business-like. So we're going to drop the belts. We're not going to hand these belts over. We're not going to vacate them or anything like that. They wanted to drop the match that way. But he dealt with those back and neck issues for an extended period of time, which eventually put him in a wheelchair, which he was confined to for probably the last 20 or so years. I actually have a autobiography that he wrote. At least I did at one time. I don't know. I have to look through my books. But it was called Pure Dynamite. And he came off, anyone who ever dealt with Tom Billington or spoke to him in those last 20, 25 years or so knows that Billington was a very proud wrestler, but also came off a lot of times as very bitter. He was not friends with Davey Boy later on in the years and was not really friends with too many people in general. And it was kind of unfortunate because he kind of just came off as this kind of lonely, bitter guy after his career ended and just wasn't, just somebody that could just had any association with professional wrestling or anything like that. And it was unfortunate. Backstage, Somebody had said that I saw on Twitter today that Dynamite Kid basically was both the best and worst of wrestling, because in the ring and what he gave to the fans, he gave 110% in the ring, was a constant worker, worked all the time, worked injured, worked, great. Backstage, he was a dick.
Yeah, that's a lot of the stories you read, and not even just backstage, but like not in the ring, but to fans and other people outside, was also not a great human being.
Yeah, he was a big ribber in general. I mean, and you hear stories about the boys, especially the guys from the 70s and 80s, that type of thing, and the ribs that they pulled on people, and how a lot of them just seemed just flat out mean. But in Dynamite's case, some of the stuff got downright malicious. He got into an altercation with one of the Rougeaus, which led to teeth getting knocked out and just assaults and just story. Tom Billington is somebody that anybody who's worked with him has at least a dozen stories about. So you'll see it online now, and people come out and they'll talk about good things, they'll talk about some of the bad things, but just look around, you'll see plenty of stories. But when it comes to influence, there are few that influenced, especially junior heavyweight wrestling, just like Tom Billington did.
Yeah.
If you've got New Japan World, check out. There's a couple of matches between him and Tiger Mask that are really worth checking out.
Cool. Sad day.
That's my ramble.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. I knew you'd carry a solid 5 minutes of the show there for that. Yeah. Whatever with that, the rundown.
Sure realized I needed a drink with that, so
yeah. Well, that's what I did. I was sitting here having my beer. I even muted my mic and just kind of leaned back in my chair, like back here. Like, I'm having to talk loud enough for the mic to pick me up, but yeah, it just was quite relaxed. It was nice. So let's move on to other news. Monday Night Raw pulls the lowest rating in modern history this week.
Woo!
With the single lowest first hour in modern history. Let me pull the exact numbers again. I know I covered it on the Cheaters Never Pin update, which you can find in your Alexa app or on your Echo. You go to your Alexa app, add it to your flash briefing, and get wrestling news every day straight in your ear holes.
In that NPR style.
Yes. Tom's is a little, I don't know if you noticed last week, folks, if you listened to it, Tom's is a little more NPR style than mine. Mine's a little bit more like top 40 or radio DJ voice, which I realized the other day when I listened back to it. I was like, holy hell, what is that voice I'm doing? And I realized, like, oh yeah, I'm in like full
yeah, you just kind of roll
40 radio voice. Like, hey everybody, this is the Cheaters Never Pin update. And you're
just going full Doc Hendricks.
Yeah. If you can find any of the old episodes from last week, you can find the 2 days where I had a cold. So that was the one thing I realized too. I was like, man, now that I'm doing this every day, if I've got a cold, it's gonna be a wreck.
Or just a week ago when I just speak very carefully.
Oh, that was so great though.
I would have done things a little differently. Having heard that now, I'm like, yeah, there's a few things I would have done. Maybe wouldn't have spoken 3 octaves higher than I normally do.
Oh, but like I told you a couple days later, I was like, if you just sipped your coffee during the middle of it, like very gently, like, this is your Cheaters Never Pin update. I'm Tom. Great having you here on this Sunday morning. That's it, Tom. You get to do the weekend version.
Yeah, it would be the Sunday edition, the hangover edition.
What if there was a CBS Sunday morning about professional wrestling? Speaking of easy talking Sunday morning programming.
Just be me and Mo Rocca.
That'd be fun. All right.
I would enjoy that. Mo Rocca's a treat.
Yeah. So the first hour, Monday night, 2.26 million viewers. Let's see. I'm trying to read the article from the Observer here. The average overall was 2.29 million. So it did not get much better, but the first hour was the lowest, 2.26, 9 p.m. was 2.4, 10 p.m. was 2.2. So actually that was the lowest hour. Which is usual.
That final hour is usually the case.
Right. But starting off that bad. Whew. I don't blame people after the last week.
No, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like, why?
Well,
that's what I'm at right now, and I do a damn wrestling podcast every week.
It goes back, so I'll even admit, like, as much as I love the WWE product, and it's my main product that I watch, right? Like, as much as I watch it and love it and try to appreciate it, after last week and the let's bookend the show with the same 30-minute Baron Corbin heat segment, I just knew. I knew how bad it was going to be. And I knew it was going to be bad, too, when we get in our group text thread, somebody, Derek, sent us a picture from WWE.com of the Raw Top 5 rundown that they always do on Monday mornings of, like, basically, here's what's going to happen on the show. And it was like, what will Baron Corbin do? And I'm like, God, like, stop. That article alone probably drove away 500,000 people after the prior week. Stop.
And it sucks. It sucks because I like Corbin.
I do too,
but no, I mean, that's just it. But, it's he's not someone to build the entire show around.
No. And it's the problem they have when they try to book anything that's being, the whole promotion has this problem and has had it for the last couple of years, right? And we discussed this last week. Like, everything's got to be for heat. Like, we can't blow anything off. We can't just have something that's a match. Like, everything's got to have interference or a run-in or just to get more heat and never reaching to a point where there's a blow-off. It's just heat, move on. Which is the entire Brock Lesnar character, by the way.
Because everything is short. It's believed to be this short-term, just quick. Here's the thing. Now here's the next thing. Now it's the belief that it's such the complete polar opposite of NXT. NXT is building because it's pre-taped so that you can kind of build things out. But NXT is made for you to watch so that it is you watch each week to watch storylines move on, to watch progression, to see what's going to happen next. If you miss a week of Raw, you miss nothing. You come back the next week and you're like, oh, there it is again. It's the same stuff. It's made for people that are coming in just completely out of nowhere to go, oh, right, wrestling. What's going on here? And just they pick it up. Dude, it's been Lucha House Rules for 3 straight weeks.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that anymore. I don't even want to acknowledge that that's a thing that Vince has decided needs to be on the television for 3 weeks in a row.
Like, the whole rule thing is fine. It's not fine, but I mean, like,
it's fine if they're heels.
Ignoring that completely, we've done the same thing 3 straight weeks.
And here's my thing:
there's no payoff.
No.
There's no like next week.
There's never a payoff.
The Revival out to be the stupidest people in the world because they're coming out there like, oh, it's the Lucha House Rules again this week. Oh, it's the Lucha House Rules again this week. It's like Raw is the person in your office that tells the joke and you don't laugh, so they go away. And then 5 minutes later, they come back and they tell the joke again because maybe you didn't hear it the last time and it still doesn't laugh. So he goes away and then 10 minutes later, he comes back and tells the same joke again. God damn it. Why aren't you laughing?
Raw is war against the viewers.
Raw is war, is Raw, is war, is Raw. It's just a complete loop at this point.
What kills me about it too, like, the last 3 weeks have been a significantly higher percentage of that because I feel like over the summer we had some decent storytelling and the show felt like it was starting to get its legs again. But then, like, the last 3 weeks have just been awful, and the ratings have, like, directly correlated that. And yet we just keep doing it. Like, I don't understand.
And see, I look at it this way too. I mean, and not to be, the hipster wrestling fan that's all New Japan or whatever, but like I look at New Japan and I think if somebody came in and wanted me to tell, and I showed them New Japan, like, how could I explain it? And I think I would have fun explaining New Japan because here's this guy and he's this, and here's this kind of silly gimmick, but I can explain that. And you explain all the things, and I think somebody would be like, oh, this is kind of fun or whatever. I can't do that with Raw right now.
Dude,
I can't explain it to people.
You can't do it with any of the WWE product.
Dude, explain Finn Balor to me right now. He's a guy.
He's a guy. And being one of the biggest Balor marks on the planet, like, that pains me every week.
And I mean, and it's not a slam on Finn. It is, he's a guy. Dude.
Because that's what he's been booked to do.
Dean Ambrose, he's a guy who doesn't like Seth Rollins.
And he thinks the audience smells bad and has diseases. Oh, look at that heat.
Seth Rollins, he's a guy that used to be Dean Ambrose's partner.
Yep.
But now he's not. And that's it.
Daniel Bryan, he's a guy.
He's a guy who's a vegetarian and likes the environment.
And punched AJ Styles in the nuts.
Not to be confused with Shinsuke Nakamura, who punches people in the nuts, but is an Asian fellow.
Right. Like,
who likes Michael Jackson. And see, that's the only reason I can do that is because I look at him and I can see a picture of him and go, oh, he must like Michael Jackson. And I wouldn't know that from an actual interview.
No. You would never know if you were a wrestling fan who was only exposed to Shinsuke Nakamura via WWE. I think they actually did talk about it in NXT, so I'm going to cut them a break. But main roster WWE, that Shinsuke has said in interviews publicly before, his two greatest influences are Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson. And if you didn't know that until I just said it, now you're like, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Wouldn't that be something to bring up? Oh, I don't know, when the #1 movie in the nation is about Freddie Mercury.
But it's not a WWE Studios film, Tom.
That's true.
You got to promote the Marine 6. Starring Shawn Michaels and his eye. Because that one's the one that's kind of separate.
Yeah.
So, pardon me. Oh, God, it's making me sick, Raw. Then let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown, a show which generally runs at about 85% capacity to Raw. Just the nature of it, right?
Right.
It's below 2 million viewers Tuesday night. And it is the lowest viewership of that show in the 2.5 years it's moved to Tuesday night and been live. The only other time they've drawn below 2 million since they moved to Tuesday nights and were live was during the presidential election here in the U.S. where people were watching a little bit more important things.
And see, you can't blame that. Like, you can blame Raw on football. They've always blamed Raw on football. Like, oh, well, it's Monday Night Football.
Raw always trails Monday Night Football. Raw will never beat Monday Night Football, and that's okay.
But that's taking viewership away. Once Monday Night Football goes away, then they can say, well, Raw will get better.
So let's look at last week in that context, right? The Philly versus Redskins game did 11.24 million viewers, which was actually up 15% week over week for Monday Night Football, which that alone shows that Raw went down 3% week over week. Okay, cool. You can look at that. But it doesn't explain that incredibly terrible first hour and the 200,000 viewer drop from the second to the third hour, which are anomalies. That's purely WWE doing that to themselves.
Yeah.
And as much of an apologist as I want to be for WWE because I love it, it's been terrible. SmackDown has been fine. I'm not saying it's great.
At least they're trying, it seems.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it may have to do with, well, we've only got 2 hours. We actually have to tell a story. We can't fill, an hour with Baron Corbin beating up baby faces.
And see, how much of it is that? How much of it is length? I mean, because again, not to, jump back to NXT or whatever, but NXT has an hour. They know they're not going to get everybody crammed into the hour. So they know that, okay, this hour we're going to dedicate to this, this, and this. And then next week we'll dedicate this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of that, too, goes back to what you were talking about earlier, right? They're taping 3 to 4 weeks of TV at a time.
Right.
With a clear end goal in mind. I don't know why the main roster can't look like it is now December. WrestleMania is in 4 months. That is the end goal right now. Like, everything you're doing should be moving up to that when you have to fill up MetLife Stadium. Because in 6 weeks' time, it's the Royal Rumble, which is the first step on that. I'll give them credit. They have started a little bit of the Royal Rumble stuff with the Braun Strowman stuff about, if he beats Corbin, he gets Brock at Rumble. Is Strowman even going to make TLC? We don't even know yet, right?
Right.
So I don't know why. And somewhere in his head, Vince knows the card he wants for WrestleMania. Top to bottom, it is in his head. But why he can't go, all right, let's start laying that out now, and let's work backwards. Instead of, holy crap, it's 2 weeks before WrestleMania, we got to start going home and actually booking matches for this show that don't involve Ronda Rousey, John Cena, The Undertaker, and Hunter, who won't even be on the show, so let's take him out.
And the thing is, it's like we're doing this, and you can blame Vince on, Vince being 70-something years old. It's like, the product's passing by or whatever. But planning ahead of time should be something that WWE does as like a symbol of its past. Vince McMahon comes from an era that they booked 12 months in advance almost. Mm-hmm. I mean, not always, but say like 6 months in advance. Like, they knew pretty much, like, WrestleMania 4's main event was done on the concept of knowing that what they wanted to do for WrestleMania 5.
Yep.
That's how it was all drawn out, completely down the line. Like, we're going to put the belt on Randy Savage because we're going to get Hogan involved, and we're going to have this partnership, and it's eventually going to break apart, and then that's going to be the big main event match for WrestleMania 5.
Yep.
That was known 12 months in advance. Now, I'm not expecting them to work that far in advance because, crap changes all the time. But, you can't tell me that, it's Vince's fault that, they're not planning ahead of time. Now, Vince has things that he wants in mind. There's way too many people apparently involved that are throwing the book all together and doing this and doing that, and moving things around. There's too many moving parts.
I don't think you can ever blame the crazy, just loose booking on Vince. Vince is a very brilliant guy. Vince knows this business. The business has not passed him by. He is a genius, which is the weirdest thing I think I've ever said out loud.
Yeah, likes pee jokes, but
but knows what the hell he's doing. Somewhere in his email on a whiteboard somewhere has been the WrestleMania card for months. But I think what they get too focused on, especially now, is, we got to look at what's trending. We got to look at social media. We got to look at this and that. So they're afraid to build something. They're being reactive instead of proactive.
But are they?
No,
because we're saying that we're going, oh well, they're hitting social media, they're looking at this, they're looking at that, but they're not really, because you look at so many of these people that have gotten over for one reason or another online, or just kind of have this kind of cult following or whatever, and it seems like WWE goes out of their way to kill that.
Let's look at Becky. I'm not saying that they don't need to be reactive at some point, right? That is obviously something they need to react to still. And I think they actually have now. I think we're now positioning that correctly.
Becky is like something that they couldn't kill if they wanted to at this point.
No.
And they've tried. They're like, we'll make her the heel, and to Becky's credit, she has rolled so damn well with it. And the crowd has eaten it up. I mean, the crowd ate it up before when they wanted Becky as the babyface, Becky Balboa. They wanted to put the belt on her. They wanted Charlotte as a heel. They wanted Becky as the face. They wanted Becky to go up against all odds and actually take the belt. So what did they do? They keep Charlotte as a face. They turn Becky heel, and the crowd eats it up completely. It's like, fine, we'll take that. Whatever gets Becky over. And it shouldn't have worked, and it has been working consistently.
Right. And I mean, part of
that has nothing to do with WWE. It has to do with Becky on her own, using social media and basically getting herself even more over than she was even before, and it's been fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Well, and part of that's a reaction to WWE's booking, right? You have her get all these title opportunities and keep failing, and you book her into oblivion, and so you finally get her in the position where she has the title and is challenging as a heel, and the crowd's like, well, finally, at least it's still Becky. But they did so much damage to begin with to that character and to the fans even kind of caring that the minute you give her edge and you give her a position, they're going to react.
Yeah.
It's just everything is terrible. Please come back, Roman. We need a baby face. That's my biggest fear, too, when he comes back. They're like, he's heel. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yes, I can. I can imagine, and it's sad.
After all that time.
Can you imagine the hate he'll get?
But he won't. Oh, it'll be great. You know what else it's time to be proactive about, Tom?
What's that, JC?
Holiday shopping.
Man, it's already Hanukkah.
It is. I think we're as we record, this is the fourth night. I don't have Hanukkah music, sorry.
I was going to say, not quite the Hanukkah.
Hold on, I can find some. Hold on. Let's carry this ad read while I find Hanukkah music.
Well, Hanukkah started, sundown of the 2nd, so that was
Saturday. Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the sundown there, so goes into the 2nd to 3rd that way. So it's 3 to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4th day of Hanukkah.
I just found Hanukkah music on YouTube. I don't know what this is.
This is a piano recital.
Yeah, I can find better. Keep going.
Okay. But anyway, Hanukkah is a little bit of a different shopping experience because you're not necessarily buying your best gift now. You're buying consistent gifts. So that present that you get on the 4th day of Hanukkah, which is, I guess, today. So it's like 4th night of Hanukkah. Let's see, 1st night of Hanukkah is Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is 5th night of Hanukkah. Okay. So 5th night of Hanukkah, that present's not necessarily that great.
Right.
But it's something that, if you're scanning your... There you go.
There's Hanukkah music.
So, you know, little tiny presents that you might want to purchase because, you know, when you have to buy 8 days worth of presents,
It's
not
pricey.
every day is going to be the best.
Right.
But where can you find cheap, affordable presents that you can get quickly?
I mean, we're on the 4th night. You have 4 left. Those things got to be here fast.
Yeah, you got to get them
If you
here
didn't plan
next
already.
day. So, what you do is go to cheatersneverpin.com.
Ooh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And not necessarily so much merch on our site.
Which
I mean,
there is.
There is. I mean, feel free to purchase that, but regardless, click on that Amazon.com button. It's large. It takes up most of the screen. You click on that. You can click on the Patreon button, but that's a separate ad read.
Yeah.
So click on that Amazon.com button. Brings you to Amazon.com, and then you go and you shop and you look for Gelt, maybe. I mean, if you're not going to,
I say don't buy that on Amazon. Don't buy that on Amazon.
If you're not going to the mall and get good quality Gelt.
If you're not one of the 70 best malls in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, you want to buy a dreidel.
Yeah.
Dreidels are fun. Teach your children gambling. That's what
maybe
dreidel is.
maybe you realize you only have 7 candles.
Yeah.
You need some candles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your own menorah.
Oh yeah.
Because you can have one. You can have more than one. There are theme menorahs if you're into that type of thing.
Are there really?
Yeah, you can get. It doesn't have to be like the stereotypical gold type thing. You can get like kid things based on like kids characters and that type of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Just kind of make it fun.
I didn't know because I don't sit and search for menorahs that often. But that's good to know.
Hanukkah's not a high holy day to that extent, so
right.
It's you have fun with it. You don't, it's not really disrespecting or anything like that. But anyway, you buy whatever merch that you want to. You load up your cart. You pay for it. You get it sent to you the next day, or they have a couple of days. If you're shopping for Christmas, you've got a little bit of time. You're shopping for Hanukkah, send it next day. But when you make that purchase, a few of those pennies that you spent go into our pockets instead of Jeff Bezos' pocket.
Yeah.
So go to cheatersneverpin.com, click on the Amazon.com button, do your shopping, pay for it.
For all your holidays.
Help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
And hey, you can Hanukkah shopping, Christmas shopping, Kwanzaa shopping, New Year's Day shopping.
Yep.
Shopping for Boxing Day.
You can go ahead and start prepping for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you can do that. I'm big
Easter's
on
in April
Boxing
this
Day,
year.
though.
Time. Yeah. Huh? Boxing Day. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
After being fired from Monday Night Raw, quote unquote fired from Monday Night Raw, after losing to Heath Slater on Monday night.
Kayfabe brother.
Okay, brother. Rhino, you were telling me this, and I totally missed this news piece. Apparently, Rhino cut a promo after the match for the live crowd, thanking them and retiring.
Yep.
All right.
Has come to the end of the line for Rhino, I guess. I don't know health-wise if he's decided to hang them up because of health reasons or if it's just because he's a 40-something-year-old guy who
has great political aspirations.
Has been on the road for quite some time now and has decided, I got enough money in the bank and, like you said, has political aspirations. And
yeah. So thank you, Rhino.
He made a pretty decent comeback, too. Yeah. Like, he kind of left WWE, kind of left the scene a little bit, and then it was a couple of years ago, he came into NXT, just started doing a couple of matches for them, and then when they had the brand split, they signed him when it was like Rhino and Kurt Hawkins and Jinder And they were just looking for bodies, pretty much, that they were familiar with.
When they announced Shelton Benjamin and then he didn't show up for 7 more months.
Yeah.
Because they announced him before he cleared medical. Well,
and they're like, oh, wow, he can't actually perform for us right now. But yeah, he turned that around and stuck around for 2+ more years and probably made some pretty decent money doing it. And
yep.
Had some fun, had a title run for probably one of the more unlikely title runs that there's been WWE
fun one
recently. Yeah.
That was a fun tag title run.
That was a fun team. Him and Heath just did a really good job just working off of each other. And
I'll never forget the segment they did where Renee went to Rhino's trailer or Heath's trailer to interview them. And Rhino's just drawing the faces in Cheese Whiz on the Ritz crackers.
Somebody had a response on Twitter that after the news of him retiring, it was just a picture of like a cracker with Cheese Whiz that was this frowny face.
Oh, that's funny.
But
yeah. Thanks, Rhino. Thank you for all the years, all over the place. And then before we get to pin mail, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the re-debut of the greatest sports league of all time.
AXFL.
Which I feel like we're going to end up doing an XFL podcast, Tom. I just have this feeling.
There's not a team in Raleigh. Screw that league.
Yeah, but you'll cheer for... Well, let's talk about where the teams are. That was the announcement today. Commissioner Oliver Luck got in front of the mic. They talked about kind of the progress the XFL is making, but the main part was where the cities and host venues will be for the 8-team league in 2020, which all the teams are owned by the XFL, which is a good thing. It'll keep it a little more financially stable. But here is where they will play. The announcement was made from MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands, which will be the first city. So that's Tom's team. Globe Life Park in Arlington, the former home of the Texas Rangers, will be the Dallas host. Cool.
Right, that's a baseball stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But football.
Right. I mean, we have bowl games every year in baseball stadiums.
Okay.
Terrible sightlines. It's gonna be awful. That's the worst venue they picked. TD ECU Stadium in Houston, Texas, home of the University of Houston football team, will be a host. So for Houston, obviously. The StubHub Center, which is a soccer venue in Los Angeles.
It's where the Chargers play.
Is it?
Yeah, when they moved, the Chargers are supposed to get a new stadium, but it's not finished yet, so
that's
they
where
put them.
Oh, see, I don't keep up with NFL, so I have no idea. My heart lies with one professional football league.
It was kind of a joke almost, because most football stadiums in general, at least for NFL, are 70, 80,000 seat stadiums.
This is 20.
And this is a 20,000 seat soccer stadium.
Right. St. Louis will get football again. The Dome at America Center will host an XFL team. CenturyLink Field in Seattle will also have a team. It's a big ass place for a team. So is MetLife, but Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay, Florida.
Well, that's Tampa's. That's the Buck Stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so there you go.
And then Audi Field, home of the DC United, in replacement for RFK in Washington, D.C., will field a team.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll pull for the New York team. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on logos and colors.
Yeah.
Nothing on here grabbed me. Like DC or Tampa did, because I was like, all right, those are the two closest. But,
and I have to throw this, I think every 6 months or so, I have to throw this out there. As a former XFL season ticket holder.
You were the only person I was thinking about that I was. Yeah, I phrased that right. You were the only person I was thinking about when I was watching the press conference today.
Yeah. I would say good times, but they weren't.
Cheaters never tackle. Coming in 2020.
That New York, New Jersey Hitmen team was a poor team. Defense was actually halfway decent. It was the 2018-2019 Carolina Hurricanes of pro football.
Yikes.
They couldn't score a point if they tried.
What fun.
I think they averaged 11 points a game.
Ooh. Which in the XFL, which if I remember correctly, well, at least in the later weeks, it was a pretty high-scoring league once everyone kind of found their footing.
Yeah, I mean, there were some teams that just kind of, aired it out, but...
Didn't the Hitmen, not the Hitmen, that was the New York, New Jersey team, didn't the Vegas team end up being the only champion?
The LA team.
Okay. Gotcha.
They won the $1 million championship.
Yeah, I have a feeling we won't see that this time.
Good old Tommy Maddox.
Less stall, more ball. XFL 2020. All right, Tom, let's move on to pen mail.
Okay.
You got to start us out, though.
Bin mail.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I really should prepare these.
That was almost jingle-esque. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to a short question first, and then we got a longer one that we actually prepared for today. That's right. Tom and I did prep today, folks.
I have a piece of paper.
The first one from our buddy at Inlock716, Noah's Ark 84 on Twitter. Where do you see Brian Miz going after last night's SmackDown? It's going to Mania. I believe this is one that's on the sheet of paper. One of them is winning the Royal Rumble. And it could be Miz from the 30 spot.
Yeah, I guess. I'll roll with that. That works for me.
I could see Miz and Asuka winning mixed match again. Getting their vacation, their Alex Spence paid vacation, wherever they choose. Which is a YouTube series I would watch. That sounds hilarious. And then, Miz wins from the 30. I'm down.
I mean...
But then it's heel, which is weird. So, I don't know.
But does Miz become face in the process?
Maybe. I don't even know that there is... I don't know.
There are no faces anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's heels. Because that's the only way you get heat, is if everybody's a heel.
You're either a cowardly heel or you're a cool heel.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody's got to be a dick. All right, here's the long form question. This is coming from @SOBMustPay, JB over on Twitter.
Okay.
In light of rumors about the Elite promotion, you can draft one person, any role, from each promotion to start your roster. No limit to the other number of promotions. Who you got? Would love to hear picks from other countries and indies too. So here's what we did. We took the three main promotions here in the U.S. We took three promotions. I picked three for us to pick from. And then we got to choose three others on our own. So WWE, New Japan, and Impact kind of being the big three, which feels so weird. I guess I could have done Ring of Honor. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, probably.
But we were the ones with cable TV deals. Those are the big three. And then we got to pick three on our own. And I went all wrestlers. I didn't pick any other roles. Because I think you start with the talent. And if you've got the right talent in place, you just hire Vince Russo to screw it up. So let's start with who you would draft from WWE to start your roster.
See, I've got two names, so I don't know if I should.
Do you want me to go first? I mean, I can. Because I think I almost wrote two because I was like, I bet we both have this one. And that's AJ. That's the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
No, I didn't go there.
Okay, I went with AJ Styles because he's so technically gifted.
So here's my reasoning on that. It's like, I'm starting a wrestling promotion, right?
Oh, you want to like get some fresh talent, like some fresh faces.
I love AJ. I'd love to have him on my promotion. Where am I going to be in 3 years? Because AJ is going to be winding down soon.
But if you have AJ, you've got those 3 years. You've got, especially those first couple years when you're building your brand, to be the cornerstone of the brand, get eyes, get viewership, really set you up on the right path, help build other talent, and then that he can, be a GM or an agent or whatever. That was my thought process.
So I thought a couple of different ways, and I ended up going with The Miz.
Okay. I can get behind that too.
Because Miz can still work, decently. But, wrestling isn't 100% work rate.
No.
It's good to be able to look presentable out there, but we need entertainment value. We need mainstream access. And like it or not, Cena's not going to be, showing up on a regular basis, really.
Right,
so
right.
You have to look to see who else can hit the mainstream. And I had Seth Rollins listed too, and I was thinking between the two of them, but
I had it down to AJ and Seth, and then went with AJ.
Yeah. I went with Miz just because, between the USA show right now and, he does have the ability to get on some movies, technically. And
True.
You kind of have to weigh it like that, too. It's like, well, could he eventually parlay that into a movie career and then, like a real movie career, not Marine 6 movie career, but an actual, think of how many like WWE kind of produced products and mediocre B movies that The Rock went through before he hit his mainstream calling.
True.
So I don't know, maybe work with that for a little bit and see how that works.
All
but
right.
So that's where I'm going with that.
I feel that. All right, New Japan, who you got?
So I weighed a couple of ideas here too, but I think I have to go with the marks on this one and go Kenny Omega.
Okay.
Mainly because, well, my promotion's in America, and I kind of want somebody that can cut promos in English and as well as have great matches and, do all the things that he could do there. Yeah, so, Tanahashi's great and all, but I don't want him to necessarily have the same kind of issues that we're running into with Nakamura, where
Right.
And Nakamura can actually speak English, but the language barrier makes it a little bit difficult. So I want star power, and again, we're building around him, so I'm going with Kenny Omega.
All right. So you're thinking too small. You're trying to build an American promotion. I'm building a global entertainment phenomenon. Okay.
Yeah, because that happens like that.
Right. Yeah, it's easy. When you draft the talent, I do.
Okay.
Which is why I chose Kota Ibushi. Because I'm building the all work rate promotion. As you'll see further down the line.
And see, I was thinking of Kota, and I love him. And I think of anybody, he's one that can kind of get away with a minimal amount of speaking.
Oh, for sure. And
But-
you could put a mouthpiece with him.
Yeah.
You could have Heyman being the voice of the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi.
Kota would be embarrassed by having Heyman as his sound piece. Like, no, you say too many things about me. Just
But it'd be
it's
entertaining.
okay.
Yeah.
And then he would shoot fireworks off his nipples.
Also, see, that's a good thing about Kota Ibushi, right? You've got the serious wrestler, but if you need him for that comedy match, he's got that DDT background.
Yeah.
We're good. Impact. This one we probably chose the same person on.
I had two from this one too.
Okay.
So if you would like to pick first again, I will take the.
I will go with Johnny Impact.
Yeah.
Johnny Mundo.
I don't think you can go wrong there.
No, he's just such a good wrestler. He could play kind of any role you wanted to put him in, face, heel, whatever he needed to do, preferably heel, because he just, with his look and his presence, just the slimy, greasy, cocky heel is such a good place for him.
See, I've already got one of those.
Ooh, teasing.
No, I've already got one in The Miz. So,
that's true. Oh my God. Well,
as much as I like Johnny Impact or Johnny whatever the name of my promotion would be, it's kind of
Johnny insert name here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna grab me Pentagon Jr.
Oh, okay. Or
because he's fun.
Penta Zero M.
Yeah, or whatever name that we'd have to change it to.
Okay. All right, I like that. That's
Penta,
good.
Penta.
Get some badass in there.
He just has a great look to him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the closest I can kind of attribute him is like when I was a kid growing up and seeing Great Muta for the first time.
Yeah.
And just having this look to him like, holy crap, who is this?
Penta just has that presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, and
That's
he can
fun.
he can pull out a regular match, he can pull out a hardcore match, he can, just do all the different styles.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So what is the first outside the box promotion you chose from? We'll see if we have any on the same list here.
I was gonna cheat and just take more New Japan wrestlers because
Okay.
again, my knowledge of indie. Well, I can take one independent wrestler, I guess,
If it was one person from each promotion,
Because- because he's not. Because I don't think he's technically officially signed. It has been rumored that he is signed,
okay.
but it is not official yet. So I'm taking Walter.
He is, yes, WWE. But you could attribute him. You could attribute him
Not-
to PWG because
I have not seen the press release.
Yeah, he is the PWG World Champion. So there you go. Tom to pick from PWG.
But he hasn't. Has he not? Has it officially been announced that he is?
He is
officially, I mean, I know he's going.
He is still the World Champion of PWG.
Yeah.
So all right. So I did go to Ring of Honor, and I took Jay Lethal because he's such a versatile player.
Okay. You just wanted to do Flair
Yes. How did you know?
impressions.
I'm rebooking an entire TNA angle. All right, what's your next one?
All right. So if I have to pull a Ring of Honor guy in,
You don't have to, but do it.
no, I'll go with the main Ring of Honor guy that I still know.
You're gonna say Daniel.
Which goes completely against my whole age thing that I was talking about before. But I think we can add the two of that together because I think he also could probably book the promotion at this point.
Oh yeah.
Just because of his knowledge of the business as it is right now. Like, he could still put together some matches, but I mean,
Right.
just to have his knowledge in the back would just
Okay.
be great.
I can dig that. So I'm gonna go to Mexico. I'm gonna go to CMLL, and I'm gonna pick someone who is known to the New Japan crowd, and that is Dragon Lee. Because I need some flippy crap, man. Almost did it, by the way.
Good catch.
He's just so gifted. To me, he has all the trappings of if he gets on a big enough stage, he's the next Rey Mysterio Jr. And he's got the presence. He's got the look. He's just, again, he is the entire package.
Yeah, I watched him on Best of Super Juniors, and I was surprised he didn't get more of a push.
Well, he was on excursion there. Or not excursion, but on loan, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Best of Super Juniors is one of those places where you get, like, I wasn't expecting him to win the tournament necessarily, but I expected him to do a little bit better than he ended up actually doing.
True.
But, yeah, he's fun.
Yeah. All right, who you got? Last one.
Well, not technically stealing from New Japan again, so I will steal from, I don't know, what Rev Pro technically, I guess.
Are you gonna say the British heavyweight champion?
No.
No. Ooh, okay. All right.
No, I was just gonna take Ospreay.
Yeah, that's a good choice. From whatever that you could say he's from whatever that promotion is, he just started in Australia.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, Ospreay's a good. That's the youth. Just book him not as often so he can heal up, please. Take good care of him.
I mean, we just talked about Dynamite Kid, and
it's true.
There's another one that's kind of going in that direction.
Yep. So I'm also going to take a talent that lives in the UK that's from the area of Australia. He's actually from New Zealand. I'm going to go with from Progress, TK Cooper.
Okay.
He just has this swagger about him. I mean, I went back and forth, and I was going to pick Travis Banks, but since Travis is signed to WWE now, I didn't want to do it. But looking at 1/3 of the South Pacific Power Trio, I took TK Cooper.
Okay.
Look him up. He's great. And he's just, especially if you go back and you go to some of the old progresses around like chapter 30, 40, where it's just before they joined up with Travis Banks and it's just him and Dahlia Black. And they're just literally making out the entire way to the ring. And it's just the grossest, biggest heat magnet thing on the planet. And then they just get their ass kicked. And it's amazing.
I was going to say, I can remember you showing me progress shows with at least the Power Trio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember there was that match that made me fall in love with Shiniest Wizard there.
Oh, yeah, with Nick Snool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it was the three of them against Nixon and I forgot who the hell she was teaming with, but
I don't remember. Yeah. I just like TK too. I think he's a good dude. So
yeah,
I'd be happy to have him in my promotion.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Do more of that.
Yeah, next time we are completely shot with ideas and it's kind of a week. That doesn't sound right, but when we're a little lacking on the wrestling news, we'll try one of those things again because we've done the drafts a couple times before.
Exactly, and
we'll do a draft of 5 or something like that.
Who knows?
You won't want more than that.
Yeah, and you know what? We could always throw something in the can too ahead of Christmas, because I think this our Christmas week will be on the 26th. So, yeah, I think we'll just put that show in the can. Since Raw and SmackDown will be pre-taped for 2 weeks in a row. Well, Raw won't for 2 weeks, only for 1 week. But
so we'd be able to pre-tape their pre-tape and then
holy crap, we could just
about
that's
it as
true.
if it's happening right now.
Oh my god, we could. Thank you, Vince. Anything else?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anything else you want to get into tonight?
Nah, I got nothing.
Cool. All right. Well, tell the people where they can find you on the internet then.
Go on the Twitter machine at Mr. Workrate, at MR Workrate. If you really want to hit all the other social media things, look for Mr. Workrate there because nobody else wants to be Mr. Workrate, so it's pretty much me.
You can find me on Twitter at JCBobbitt, JCBOBBITT on Twitter or wherever finer social media is pervade. You can find the show on Twitter at CheatersNVRPin. You can find us on Instagram at CheatersNeverPin, fully spelled out. You can find us on your Roku device. Go to your channel store and download the Cheaters Never Pin app and listen to us on the best screen in your house. You can also add us to your flash briefing on your Alexa every morning, Monday through Friday for the best wrestling news in the world. That's the Cheaters Never Pin update. You can add that by visiting bit.ly/C, P, link is in the episode description, or just go to your Alexa app and search for Cheaters Never Pin update.
I'm on the Pokemon Go. If you really want to be my friend on that, you can hit me up on Twitter and I'll give you the 12-digit code or whatever it is.
Charizard or something. I don't know I know nothing about Pokemon.
No, that actually works. That's accurate, I think.
Cool. Get a Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Squirtle.
Squirtles are the best.
Psyduck was always my favorite, at least from the cartoon, just because he just walk around complaining of his headache all the time. Just like,
yeah.
I feel for this. Psyduck. I'm like, I feel for this guy. All right. Well, next week we'll be back going home for TLC. I think that'll probably be the majority of our week next week. Yeah. Can't
Another
wait.
pay-per-view.
Yep. So send us some pin mail.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
More draft ideas or something along those lines.
Yeah, if we can draft, we can do like a mini 3 draft every week in pin mail. It's super easy. As long as you get it to us like before 8:45 on Wednesday.
Yeah. Because I wrote down things and then I ignored most of them anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for listening as always. Be sure to tell 2 friends about this show and give us 5 stars on iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. I think that'll do it. So we're going to get out of here for this week. My name is JC.
I'm Tom.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.